Can't leave the door open, there's too much noise. Well, good morning. We're live.
Good afternoon,
Good morning.
everybody.
And welcome to successcafe.tv. Nearly forgot. You take it for granted and then you forget what you're doing. It's really weird. So we've sorted out our weekends. We know what we did. We had good weekends and quiet and whatever. But today's subject is habits and behaviours never lie.
Mm-hmm.
And for any sports people in here or entrepreneurs or business people or whatever, you will know that your numbers don't lie. You know, your results don't lie. And that all stems from your habits and behaviours. So I'll let you start off on this one, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go on. Just give us a bit of input.
So for me, the way I see habits is that habits lead to our actions, and then our actions determine who we become. Repetitive actions determine who we become, and everything has a consequence, and so do habits. So, unfortunately, the way I see things is with the majority of people, we all have habits, but majority of us, the way I see it in society, have unconscious habits that we're not managing and taking care of and consciously aware of. And we develop these habits over time, and those habits then become part of who we are, and they rule the way we think and the way we act. So, as you say, they never lie, and that's reflected in our actions on a daily basis, the habits that we perform behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, habits and behaviours are everything. Because they're the start of everything. You know, you can think about planning, you can think about setting goals, but really, really, truly, if your habits are not very good, they're going to cause you problems. And if your behaviours, which I use the habits as the like the bedrock of everything,
foundation,
the behaviours are like the umbrella that goes over the top of it. So it deals with things like mindset and all that type of stuff. And you've got to have those things in place. And I've used a couple of people for my research. One was Darren Hardy, and he was talking about this large discrepancy between what someone says and what they actually do. Okay. And I think we've all suffered from that in the past, where we've said we're going to do something and then we actually don't do it. Now, there's been other occasions when I've said I'm going to do something and I've actually followed through for a long period of time. So I think sometimes you have to look at what you're committing to, because sometimes we commit to things sometimes probably without thinking, and it wanes. Everything sort of, the desire is not so deep.
It peters out.
It peters out, exactly. Yeah. Whereas the thing that really does take your fancy is the thing you stick at. So again, I suppose it's a bit down to choices, isn't it? Where you have to choose the right thing for you, so that, you can keep going.
But also again, I sent a message to a group that I'm involved with this morning about paradigms. And this is the same thing. They lie side by side the way I see it. If we have a paradigm about, paradigm is basically the way you see your world around you. You have a certain belief system, and that is your paradigm. And if your belief is that, for example, you will never be a millionaire, well, you can do all the habits that you want to try to get to become a millionaire, but they will eventually peter out because you don't have, they're not part of who you are. That's not, it's like, yes, you want to be doing habits that are part of who you are and make you feel good and better about yourself. But at the same time, most of us are programmed to see the world in a very different light. Most people think that they will never attain the status of being a millionaire. Not that being a millionaire these days is anything great and fantastic. It helps. It certainly helps to be a millionaire, but it's not the be all and end all these days. So if your paradigm is telling you that I will never be a millionaire because you're basing it on your history, your family, and all these kind of factors, you can do all the habits you want to, but eventually they're not going to be congruent with who you really are. However, the way I also see it is the flip side of that coin is that through repeating certain habits, we are also then, depending on the habits that you repeat, we are then able to start to change our paradigm. But it depends on how frequent we are doing those habits. If we do those habits once every couple of days, it's never going to change for us.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But if we're repeating the same habits a minimum 3 times a day, for example, anybody that knows Paul and I, we love to work in threes, and there's a reason for that, because there's a psychological history with that. Okay, so if you're doing a certain habit 3 times a day, and that habit is going to help you to go to where you want to be, that's going to help you to change your paradigm. Okay, so it may sound contradictory to what I just said, but that's why I say the way I see it, they lie side by side. They lie parallel. They're bed partners, but it's just a matter of what are you doing and how you want to do it, and changing the way that you see yourself in the world around you, in your future world around you.
Yeah.
And then
I think also, I think also linked up now, talking about lights, as you said, I need a bit of light. Hang on.
We all need a bit of light.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
that's a bit
better.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So talking in threes as well, happiness, fulfillment, and joy. So when I said earlier about the habits and behaviors and picking maybe a project that you want to do, what happens is you say it wanes. The reason it wanes is because you're not looking for happiness, you're not looking for joy, and you're not looking for contentment. The pursuit of happiness, as the Americans call it, and I think that's quite right. And makes things easier if you're searching for happiness at the same time in what you're doing. So the big thing for me, and again, I've said this loads of times before, but I've given it a new name. It's called mirror chats.
Mirror chats. Oh,
mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, it's what you're looking in the mirror, and you speak to yourself more than anyone else. So why not make it mirror chats? And you've got to talk to yourself every day a little bit. You can do it after I'm not say during cleaning the teeth, but maybe before or after. But
you can do that while you're cleaning your teeth, while you're brushing your teeth.
Nobody would understand it though, would they?
You have a silent conversation to yourself, but if you're looking at yourself in the eyes, that's where the mirror is. The mirror is in your eyes.
Absolutely. And I call it the ultimate accountability partner, and that is yourself.
Oh yeah.
Now I've just got a new accountability partner, and she is superb, by the way. But as I say, I think you've really got to be accountable for what you're doing. There is a whole gambit of things, and it isn't complicated. All this falls into place once you've got the goal, you know what the outcome's going to be. You just got to get these few little bits. Yes, you can talk, young man.
Can you hold on to that thought for us 1 second, because that has reminded me of something that I wanted to recite in a previous podcast, which we spoke about, and a similar subject matter. That now that we're on it again, I am going to go get that piece of paper. 1 second.
You carry on, young man.
Just carry on entertaining the crowd.
Well, I don't know about entertaining, but I'll try. Now, look, we can talk about lying. We can talk about body language. You can talk about eye movement and all different things like that. But really, the key is what you do. When I was talking about these mirror chats, or if you're dealing with other people, we know when someone is lying. If I lie, I'm sure someone else will know if I'm lying. Okay? There's a bit of hesitancy. You might hold back slightly, be a little bit nervous, maybe. And we try and speak the truth as we know it. Okay, on here, and so intentions are wonderful, but results are magic. Okay, and that is the deciding factor at the end of the day. You've heard me say that before. Now, the results count at the end of the day. If you've got the results, it means you're playing the numbers. You're looking for not lots of numbers, but especially if you're in sales, you're speaking to enough people. You're doing it with the right attitude. You're saying the right things. You're being disciplining your disappointment, because nobody wants the same things. Okay, so you have to speak to lots of people, and the result doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. The result is it's either yes or no, and you like both of them. You need both of them. Anyway, yes, go on, Warren. Let's.
No, but that's what you just said there about the result doesn't matter, and I'll get onto it, is so true, because again, our behaviors and our beliefs dictate how we respond to that answer, or that determination from the people we're trying to sell to. If you're in sales, or if you're trying to do any business deal, you got to detach yourself from that result. But that ability or that inability comes from our habits and our behaviors as well, because very often we grow up with the habit of expecting to be, for the answer to be positive, a positive answer to be given to us, or our happiness or our satisfaction to be determined by whether somebody says yes or no to us for something. That's a habit. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got to change the way you look at that. You can't go out looking for that satisfaction outside. If you can find the satisfaction in any area of your life from within, then it doesn't really. You'll learn to not be attached to the result of, or the outcome of, whether somebody says yes or no to you, because it is a habit. That's part of our behavior patterns. Okay, so I want to just.
Oh, can I just say one thing before we start?
Sure.
You said about accepting a no, if you want to call it. I remember when I was really, really heavily into dealing with Google and getting leads and speaking to them on the phone. Would have been about 2009. I remember when they say, well, actually, I've looked at it, I'm not interested. I'd say, that's fantastic. It's great. I thought that would be near enough the end of the conversation. And they're expecting you to sell to them. And I'm going, I can't do that. You're either interested or you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple. Anyway, that's what I want to say. Sorry.
But it's great because you have an answer, right? You have an outcome. And that's all you're seeking is an outcome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, that's what often that one of our mentors, our mutual mentors in our industry, says that that's what our job is to get an answer, is to get an outcome, and that's what we do. We're there to seek answers. And so let me get onto this here. So this is called Meet Your Partner, the guy in the glass, or the gal in the glass. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you get what you want in your struggles for self, and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what the guy has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or partner for life whose judgment upon you must pass. The man whose verdict counts most in your life is the guy staring back from the glass. He's the one to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the guy in the glass is your friend. You may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy, but the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You can fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you've cheated the guy in the glass.
Smile at the bloke in the glass as well. Think about it.
Yeah,
he smiles back, doesn't he? So if you swear at him, he swears as well.
I think it was Dennis. Was it Dennis Waitley that?
Probably.
Dennis Waitley.
He used to work with a space program, NASA.
Yeah. And I think it was him that said once before he actually said his wife or somebody close to him his wife told him about loving yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror and repeating to yourself that you love yourself. I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he said it got to a point where he was like, I'm in love with myself. And he thought that was really strange. He thought that was weird, but it's not. To be in love with yourself is, I think, what every single one of us is really deep down looking for, to be in love with ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On a completely different side note, but to do with Dennis Waitley, he was the one that introduced the personal development industry, if you want, the feelings of not the feelings, the visual imagery. You know, we visualize getting that basketball and putting it in the net. You know, that type of thing. So he was the one of the ones that brought that forward. I don't know if he actually thought of the idea himself. I don't know, but I know listening to him, he was one that sort of brought it to the industry. So
yeah, he did the
and
groundwork.
that's crucial as well, where you see it, you see the believing, as it were, before it happens. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that there, I mean, it's an excellent poem, or would you call it a poem?
Yeah, that's a poem. Yeah.
Ditty.
Yeah. What?
What do you want to call it? A ditty. So, all right, yeah. So habits and behaviours never lie, and but do they? That's the question I'm asking. Do they? And I would say it depends what they are. It depends what habits and behaviours you have. The habits are things you do every day, as you said, things that you become consistent at. But they've got to be good habits, right? They're no good having bad. We've all got bad habits.
Yeah.
You know, whether you scratch the wrong place or something like that. I don't know what it may be. I just, because it's the first one that came to mind. And
because you're a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but your actions and your attitudes show out to other people. I mean, they show out to the world. Yes, they show out to you. You're in your world, but they also show out to other people. So other people will know from what you're projecting to them how you feel. You know, are you positive? Are you negative? So just think about that. Think about, not only do you project to the mirror, right? You project to everyone else.
Well, that world that you're talking about is your mirror.
Absolutely.
That's a mirror of your feelings, your emotions, your behaviors, and your habits. Whatever that is for you, that's what you attract into your life. Pure and simple.
Have you ever said have you ever said something to somebody? Oh no, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. How many times?
Yeah, it doesn't happen too much these days, thankfully. But I remember sometimes when you're maybe a little bit more rebellious or something, and you don't care what the result is. You know, it's like, I've got my point over. That's all that matters.
It's called foot and mouth.
Now, I think we're a little bit more thoughtful now.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So initially, habits are the key to everything, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you feel about that, but so habits are hard to break. What do you think about that question?
Oh, definitely, and that goes back to the paradigms again. Your paradigm, your paradigm is everything really to you. It's because it's your belief system, right? So, if you tell somebody that the habit that they have of waking up every morning and having a cup of coffee and then only eating at midday is not beneficial to their health, that person honestly believes that is who they are. That's their paradigm, and they're going to fight against that. And that boils down to their beliefs. So that belief creates their habits and their behaviors. So it can be detrimental to you, of course, but it just boils down to, what is your paradigm? What is your belief about whether your habits are serving you or not? This is like, I see a lot of advertising these days about I'm trying to put it in a term that gets the message across quickly, but you see a lot of marketing these days from these companies that talk about how ridiculous it is that people still work 9-to-5 jobs, 5 days a week, this kind of stuff, and all that blah blah blah, depending on a job. You try to tell somebody that's been in a job for
it's an insult. It's an insult for one thing.
Of course it is. But you try to tell somebody that's been in a job for 30 years, 20 years, whatever, that what they've been doing for the last 20, 30 years is pointless. What are you going to get from that? What do you think you're going to get from that person?
Yeah,
and I don't understand
feedback. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, look, I did 33 years in the police, and I for the most part, I enjoyed every day. every day was different. You can tell me any different, but obviously I always tinkered with the idea of being an entrepreneur. But the police always seem to win out. You know.
Okay.
There's a bit more to it than that, but basically it seemed to win out all the time. So my next question would be: habits are like weeds, or it can be like weeds.
Yeah.
It
If
can
I think
strangle you.
yeah. Well, I mean, otherwise they can free you.
Absolutely. I was going to say the other side to that is you can thrive.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can, as you say, it can free you. Habits are always positive.
That's tough on that, because you can have habits that are detrimental to your health.
Yeah. So I would say that one is dependent on you.
Yeah, I think that's
What the habit is.
specific. Yeah, because you won't see that. You won't see it as being necessarily detrimental to your health. So for you, that's a positive habit.
Yeah.
It's to say, like, coming home and sitting in front of the television for 4 hours is not a healthy habit, but for you, that's the best part of your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it could be that little cheat that you have every day.
Yeah.
So it does depend. In other words, it depends what the habit is and what it does for you, and what it can do,
what it means to you,
against you, or whatever. But great habits, now we're talking about positive habits here, are the chain reaction that we all need. Okay. Now the only person that can implement that positive change, that positive habit, is you. Now you can get a little bit of inspiration from someone else with their suggestion.
Sure.
But when it comes down to it, it's down to you. You know, and we all need that. We all do that, hopefully. So habits are like compounded interest.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
We talk about great habits here. We're not going to go down the negative route anymore. So they're compounding interest. They keep a little bit. It's like adding a little bit of money to it each time. It doesn't have to be money, of course, but I'm just saying it's like adding something a bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. You know, and this is when we're talking about self-improvement, self-development. Okay. Habits are easy to develop was the next question.
Next question or statement?
Well, statement, question,
are habits easy to develop?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. You just got to put your mind to it, and that's all. If you just put your mind and your conviction into a habit, creating a habit, then it's easy to develop, I believe.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most of us, again, are just not willing to do that.
No, that's right. And you know, they talk about this 21 days to a new habit, right? I'm going to attack the norm here and say I think there's garbage.
Yeah.
You know, I've done habits for a year and then stopped doing them. It's going to be different for everyone. It depends what the habit is. The more fun the habit is, the more chance you've got of doing the 21 days and keep it going. But if it's a little bit harder, then it may, you know, they say the sweet spot is 66 days. So that's I would think some kind of an average. Okay. Yeah, I can swallow that a bit more. But it's going to be different for everyone. Some people have to work at it every single day.
Sure. And they do for good reason, because I've been doing a 5-day program with Bob Proctor, and I've just started doing a habit that he teaches in this 5-day program, and it's great. It's again, and I'm talking to myself in the mirror. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm reciting a statement, and it's great. It's so easy. And he says that when he was 26 years old, Bob Proctor's 87 now at the moment, 87. Yeah. And when you look at the man, he's got so much passion and vigor. And so he's been since the age of 26. He's been practicing this particular habit, and he said it changed his life. And that's just reciting a statement, and he does it 3 times a day. And then the addition to that is write down how how I feel immediately after reciting that for 5 minutes, that same statement for 5 minutes. But as he says again, most people are not willing to do that. It's
No,
so
that's right.
simple. It's so basic. It takes 15 minutes of your day in total, but most people are just not willing to do that.
Well, it's even more of a challenge if they have to do it out loud, because there's still that feeling of being embarrassed.
Yes, yeah, even amongst your own family members.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, habits are the glue, as far as I'm concerned. They hold everything together. Okay, so you better make sure you get some good habits. All right, the mindset, the attitude, the behaviours. All right, they are the overall mechanism or umbrella that binds everything else together. So, once you've got the habits moving forward, then you talk about tenacity and action and persistence and things like that. But you need to get the habit going. Okay, don't leave it. If you think something's a good habit, grab it, work with it, and don't worry if you miss a day. Don't kill yourself. Don't attack yourself verbally, because you'll destroy it, and you say, "Well, I'm not doing that anymore." Okay, so if you did the habit 2 days out of 3, that's brilliant. Yeah, we all want 3 days, okay, or 6 days, or whatever it is. But you are going to goof off, as I call it.
Yeah,
right? And it happens. Your mind gets taken away by something. Now it could be something bad that takes it away, or something that's not so good, or it could be something even better that takes it away. But just bring it back on course the next day. All right, there's no big drama here. All right, you missed a day. Okay, smack my hand.
I have a journal in which I write, and every day I try to write. I write in it, and I write about stuff that I'm grateful for, or things that I love about my life, and I alternate from day to day. Most Saturdays, some Saturdays I write, but most Saturdays I wake up, I think I just don't feel, I don't want to write today. I don't want to do that today.
Yeah.
And I don't do it. And then this weekend, Saturday came, I didn't do it. Yesterday came, Sunday, and I just ran out of time to do it. And then I forgot about it. And then by the end of the evening, I was like, I'm too tired to do this now. Okay. But then this morning I sat down and I did it, but I don't beat myself up about the fact that I didn't do it for the last 2 days, because I know it's not the end of the world. No, I know at the end of the day, I want to do it, and that's what's important to me, because I know it's helping improve my life and move me forward. So, just to give an example, it's not worth beating yourself about stuff like that.
No, it's not. I mean, I've done that. I did that for years over loads of things. There's no point. Right. So, I mean, look, here's some of the things you can do. You can change your self-talk. This is the mirror time that I talked about. You can change your language. You can change your statements.
Sure.
Jump out of your comfort zone. Change your risk factor. Be prepared to risk a little bit as well. All right. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is learn quickly and apply quicker. Now, you're going to review things. You're going to look at yourself and look at how you're doing. And that's fine. But the only reason you do that is just to improve, or to avoid something maybe that you shouldn't be doing. All right. Now, there's one statement I'm going to finish off, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Warren. I've always believed in being bold, being confident, and powerful. If that's what you want, that is what you will have if you want it. However, the opposite of that is weak, timid, and feeble. Okay. Now, I'm not attacking anybody, and we've got various different types of people. You choose where you want to be on that scale.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all I will say. So with that, I've finished what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Warren, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, I'll just try and think of something profound to say. Yeah. Look, habits, I think we've explained pretty much clear enough how we look at habits and what we believe habits to be, and behaviors for that matter. And at the end of the day, as you touched on, Paul, is that you can either be feeble, weak, or you can be empowered and vigored by what you choose to do. That's your choice at the end of the day. but we all are accountable for our own lives. And whatever we choose to do or not to do is reflected in our lives. That's a pure and simple scientific fact.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we choose to do or not to do in our life is what we attract into our life. You cannot argue with that anymore. Before, people could argue against that, but you can't. The facts are there, all right? So it's up to you at the end of the day. But again, you cannot decide to do something and then blame somebody else for it, or not to do something and then blame somebody else for it. You've got to take 100% responsibility of what that outcome looks like. And if you need help, if you need someone to sit and talk with, somebody to perhaps to coach you through that, to help you to become more accountable in your life, then myself and Paul are here for you for that as well. It's not an easy thing. It's really not an easy thing to change our beliefs and our behaviors. I know that for a fact. And I'm sure Paul understands that too. It can be very challenging. So, if you want to talk to somebody about that and you don't have anybody else in your life that you feel you can talk to about it, then Paul and I are here for you. You just need to reach out. That's all you need to do. Just reach out to either one of us and we can help coach you through that process. It's at the end of the day, if you look at the bigger picture, it's really not that difficult. But when you're focused in on yourself, like most of us are at the moment, it is difficult. It is challenging. You just got to take yourself away from the picture and step out of your own way. Out of the picture, step out of your own way, and you can do it.
Can you stay out there?
You like the white wall, do you? So yeah. Okay.
Fantastic. Well, with that, we'll end, and hope you've enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, show the love, like, share, love, whatever it is you need to do. Comment, and then we'll answer it. So have a fantastic rest of the week. This is the start of the week, and we will speak to. Well, we'll see you on Wednesday if you're that way inclined on healthierlife.tv, and we'll speak then.
On Wednesday, we're going to have a very interesting subject matter to talk about. Oh, yeah.
We're not going to tell you, though. You've got to find it.
You got to come and search for it.
Lovely. All right. Okay. Speak to you soon, everyone. Cheers. Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everyone.